So when it comes to playlists, Rebirth of the Dead quads this week, next week, and then we're going to have that transition over to Titanium Trials Endurance quads, and then those would be like the big modes. Then Champion of Caldera come back next week for trios this time around, and then you kind of see where it goes for Fortune Keep and stuff like that. And in the Titanium Trials event, there's 3 different camos you can get from this. If you complete all 8 of the challenges, you're going to get the liquid metal weapon camo for Vanguard weapons. If you go ahead and go lower, one of those challenges is the titanium chrome Vanguard weapon camo, and this will be winning Gulag 5 times in Titanium Trials. So you obviously got to play, die, go to Gulag. And then the other one, which I think is going to be the rarest camo in all of Warzone, is the one at the bottom here that requires you to get 20 wins in Titanium Trials. You got to remember, this event is only going to last 2 weeks. And if you're not a win grinder, that one's going to be pretty hard to come by. So when you get this Skynet Vanguard weapon camo, it will be incredibly rare. And then we got Rebirth of the Dead, which is from the 27th through the 11th. I think this one is going to be a fun one, but it's going to be super hectic. We got, for a limited time, the Classic Zombies Royale experience is coming back. This time to Rebirth Island, but with a twist. For those who haven't played it before, here's the core rules. Players become zombies when you die. Zombies can collect antivirals from crates or dead players to redeploy as a human. Last team with a human wins. Player count is 10 squads of 4, so that's 40 players. As zombies are eliminated, the infestation meter fills. When it's full, all spectators are returned to the play as zombies. And they kind of mentioned this as a jailbreak type feature. As soon as that thing gets full, pretty much if any teams are available, everyone's going to go ahead and come back that is spectating as a zombie. Then it all starts again. During the match, medical supplies will be parachuted in to help humans and zombies alike. Zombies that perform a finishing move on a human will redeploy. You play to get one of 2 exclusive event calling cards. We got the Head Scratcher perform a finisher as the zombies, and then last alive win a match of Rebirth Island or Rebirth of the Dead as a human. So that's kind of straightforward there. There's also an ominous fog for a limited time. Experience the new mode and atmosphere during Rebirth, so I would imagine it'll be darker. One final note, it seems the golden vaults have been open, so I don't think you're going to have to enter key codes anymore, so it'll be pretty straightforward there. And then Titanium Trials, I think we'll get more into that when it actually drops. And then for gameplay, they've already added the Cursed Ground stuff, which is a new special event for Fortune's Keep. It's now considered Cursed Ground and now has a special event to the match. There are several cursed chests hidden around the newly discovered island. These chests contain power-ups. If you've already played it, you've already kind of see how that works. Portable redeploy balloons. This is in all modes right away. It's in the name. A portable version of the popular redeploy balloon can be placed on the ground and used until expires or destroyed. And then we have the portable balloon functions as follows. Has half the health of a normal balloon, so it can be shot if you see someone put it up. Has a shorter launch distance of a normal redeploy balloon, so it doesn't go nearly as high. Will despawn automatically after a short time. I think they said about 30 seconds, so as soon as you put it out, you got to get in and get out. Comes with a unique icon on the attack map, so if you see someone play someone, you'll know with 100% certainty that somebody is there. Can be found in ground loot or as a reward for completing supply drop contract as a guaranteed drop from a crate. Keep in mind that if you did put one of the jammers, you could put a jammer and then use that so people would know exactly where you are. So I guess there's things that they can be in combination. The bomber planes are back, returning feature. I didn't see a ton of people use those or even talk about that with those when they're in the game, but we'll see how those go. Quality of life, teammate buybacks, all maps and modes. Previous player had enough money and a redeploy token, it would take the token. Now it's going to take the money and you'll keep your resupply token. And I think this will actually keep the lobbies surviving a little bit longer. Gas circle, Fortune's Keep. The gas circle radii, size, and timings have been rebalanced for faster match pacing. We're going to continue to review it. So I think they're going to solve it that way instead of making respawns faster to make more players. We'll see how that play testing is. I'm sure they've tried it, and it's always different when it gets in the player's hands. Then we got the radar jammer drop rates. Have been reduced to align with current drop rates of Rebirth Island, which have already been reduced. So respawn loadouts, these are when you actually die and then you come back out of the sky with the pistol, with an Owen gun, whatever. So they updated most weapons and added new ones into the resurgence respawn, so when you're coming back. And then armored SUV nitrous boost, that is first introduced at the beginning of Season 4, now has a nitrous boost capability, and that is for those SUVs. Trophy system have previously been able to destroy certain field upgrades. Moving forward, the trophy system is only effective versus lethal and tacticals. That's good. And then we got legendary supply drop. Legendary orange supply drop rates have been increased on Caldera, so they're going to be more common, which means more cash, which lobbies will have more people in them. Previously adjusted. This work has completed during Season 4, but listed here comprehensive. We've already had these. Weapon trade station, they added the Janner, radii change. The buy station increased that. Public events, fire sale is at 3, and then cash extraction is at 2 and 4 on Fortune's Keep. Lootable perks have been already added to that. An important update to this perk will drop shortly after the mid-season update, and I think this one will probably drop when the Titanium trial, so we got probably like 2 weeks for that. And I think this one goes from like 20%, they said, down to 15%. We'll see how that impacts the actual TTKs. Tactical equipment, stick damage from a thermite increased to 40, up from 30. Really? Like you're dead in either way. If the target does not have EOD equipped. General base Vanguard weapons through. So there's a new weapon, which is the Vargo S, not the Vargo from Cold War, but the Vargo S, which isn't popular in Cold War, even though it's pretty good. The trading firepower, so it's not going to be high damage, at least based off the description. Improved accuracy and fire rate, so it should feel pretty good. It's going to come down to mag size then, right? So then we have zombies camos are now from Vanguard are now available and equipable in Warzone. That took them way too long. It's like most people gave up. I stopped grinding it after I had like 20 weapons done. It's just kind of like, damn, man, why couldn't you do it there? So at least I was motivated to do it, but now it's just going to sit there. Redacted weapons. Vanguard redacted weapons made their debut at the launch of Fortune's Keep. These weapons not only include the 10 attachments, but they include a weapon perk combination of all the desirable perks. So fleet, steady, perfectionist, vital, hardscope, brace, spotter, awareness, wreck, mechanic, fast melee, and on hand, which gives you a little bit faster aim down sight. Needless to say, the redacted weapon is extremely dangerous and highly sought after piece of loot. So these could be cool if they were meta builds, but I guess we'll see which ones, if maybe they've changed them. Recommended weapons. We are closing in on 200 weapons. So now they've added a tab to tell you what is kind of recommended within the meta parameters or top tier viable. So a lot of those should align, hopefully, with kind of some of the thoughts we've had over the past seasons on like the bar, the Cooper, without it changes, well, obviously, but we'll see what the changes are. So now we're down to the assault rifles, and for the bar, you can see it got all kinds of different nerfs, mainly to the recoil, STG, mainly to the recoil, Cooper carbine, mainly to the horizontal recoil. You can see it went from 30% to 11, so it's going to be harder to use, and this is one way to attack the TTK. Instead of just making the health higher, you can actually balance the individual weapons, which can be a little bit hard if this is your favorite gun and now it's harder to use. Kind of depends on how your skill level is and where it fits there. We have the Etra Burst, which got a muzzle velocity improvement. That was a buff. NZ got nerfed in a couple different ways. Looks like the damage, which is the long range damage, the neck multiplier, and the recoil control were decreased overall. Nothing there, like nothing really changed on the Nikita where you're gonna be like, oh, it's any different. The problem with this gun is the damage per mag, so this didn't really get adjusted because they didn't change the damage and they didn't change the mag size. We got the KG, which was pretty good. I think it was kind of heavily slept on, made a little bit harder to use. They modified the min damage, the headshot, but it's still going to be low recoil for the most part. 35%. Ooh, that could be hit. We'll have to feel how that is in game. I felt like it had almost no recoil, even at like 150 meters. So we'll see how that balances out. AMAX, headshot locational damage multiplier increased, so it does a little bit more damage to the head. The mid damage increased to 28. That's long range. Kilo. Oh, yes, they brought back the Kilo. The Kilo is like the original Kilo. Holy, people are going to be gassed. Holy. Also, the AMAX gets a buff with the headshot locational damage multiplier increased to 1.6, which should be mostly negligible, but it depends on how it's going to multiply with this long range damage of 28. This is pretty significant. This is kind of making it go back to where it was before as well, which would be kind of interesting with the health change because that 50 difference was significant from way back in Verdansk. Obviously, this is something the community is going to be excited about, especially people who only use Modern Warfare weapons. The Farah max damage increased. That's just the range. The Krig mid damage increases 26. This is interesting. M13 neck location up to 1.3, so it will have a little bit more meltiness, even though the damage per mag is still struggle bus. Volkstrom Gewehr headshot multiplier, and then they modified all the magazine. It holds more ammo because that was an issue. The Gorenko damage penalty. Overall, it looks like mostly buffs, but we'll see kind of how this part goes. The 40% recoil to 20, because this thing didn't have a ton of recoil, just kind of, again, a damage per mag situation. Armaguerra got slightly nerfed for this headshot one, but that seems mostly negligible. Probably changed one shot to kill. Blixen got hit pretty hard across the board. And then we have the Marco, which got hit by damage. The movement's still going to be nutty though. And then we have the UGR from Cold War Extremities. It got buffed again. I guess they figured, we increased the mag, but nobody still used it. Maybe people will use it now. We got the Uzi. That had some changes there. They got buffed. Kind of like no one was asking for it, but this could be interesting. Still has a really small mag with that AE rounds, but that's kind of how it goes. MP5 Cold War. I just did a video on this. They buffed it. Oh, man. That's good. They boost the range to 10 meters from 8. That's solid moves. The following shotguns max pellet damage have been increased. They want to make shotguns more viable. Obviously they did the health change which put shotguns into the ground, but now that they could be good again. We'll see. The Gallo, the Gracie Auto got buffed. The Origin, the Street Sweeper, all buffed. Then we have the sniper rifles, which this one's listed incorrectly. It should be green because the ADS transition decreased to 405, which means it's faster than what it was at 430. It's down to 380 from 390, so this should be in green. And then we have some slight buffs to ADS time there. We have the 3-line, which mostly got a buff all the way around, but the damage changed up close. This is the close range damage. So I think this was allowed it to get a one shot to the chest. They modified it so maybe the multiplier here doesn't allow for that, but we'll see kind of how that works. And then we got the Gorenko, which also got buffed. So it used to be 600, which was abysmal. Now it's 520, 460 before, now 410. And this is when you ADS in and then when you ADS out, right? So it's by default already going to be that, plus whatever attachment you put on it, it will be faster or slower based off of this particular number. Marksman rifles, we had a slight buff to the M1 Grand, which really didn't get touched much other than floor loot. The crossbows got buffed slightly for their accuracy, and that just means they'll go kind of more directly where you're looking at. That didn't say the velocity there, so it's not going to be any faster. It'll just go more likely where you're actually aiming. Light machine guns, the Whitley got a slight buff to the recoil, and they buffed the damage by also reducing the fire rate. So this one's kind of a wonky one. It's going to feel like a significantly different gun. We'll kind of see how that particular thing works because the rapid is kind of what kind of made it compete. But these damage changes might be enough. And the recoil, I don't know. This one's going to be an interesting one to kind of play with. So Whitley, kind of on the lookout. And then the UGM, it looks like it got buffed again as well. And this one I think is the burst barrel, just to give you a little bit more of a neck multiplier. So the TTK should still be good on that one, even though they modified kind of like the bullet velocity and other stuff earlier on. Carve got buffed on range. M16, like these, they usually won't get touched other than like within 70 meters on the smaller maps. And then pistols, the melee range has been reduced from 1.8 meters down to 1.5, so you should have less instances where it feels like you get a super lunge in the kill cam. And then we got handgun echo, which is the deagle, got a buff. And I think this might be related to when you come back in Resurgence, they're going to have you do this because I don't think most people have this part of the loadout, even though maybe it is good. It's just really hard to use. And the rat mid damage increase, and this is after that first damage drop off. And then it has some penalties here for muzzle velocity, damage, range, rate of fire were a little bit too much. And then attachment recoil booster now impacts vertical recoil, make it a little bit harder because before it was only horizontal. And then we got the bayonet, will make you move faster, carver foregrip, slight nerf, strife angled, which were meta. And then we got the operators, which are going to be in the store. Obviously I don't buy really much in the store, but if you do, you can use my creator code. I do have that. It's just JGOD in all caps, and downloads about 4 to 6 gigs depending on your platform. Enjoy the update. I am very interested to try the Kilo and the AMAX. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.